Good morning, dear students. I am here with part 2 of chapter 2, Principles of Management. In first part, I have explained you nature of principles of management and significance of principles of management. Here in this part, I am going to explain you who was Henry Fayol. Henry and the 14 principles given by Henry Fayol. Henry Fayol was born in 1841 in France. He completed his graduation in mining engineering. And Henry Fayol has given 14 principles to be used in an organization for its smooth functioning. Because in 1888, Henry Fayol became the managing director of a company. At that time, the company was nearly bankrupt. His managerial excellence was reflected by the fact that he not only saved a large coal and steel company from bankruptcy, but turned the losing company into a flourishing organization. Henry Fayol was the first to define 4 functions of management, that is planning, organizing, directing and controlling. And he was also a person who said that a manager must possess physical, moral, education, knowledge and experience qualities. And Henry Fayol has given 14 principles which a manager can use in an organization as a general guidelines, and as required they can modify them according to the requirement of their companies. The 14 principles given by Henry Fayol are on the basis of observations and analysis, that is, practical experience of managers and by conducting experimental studies. So, we move on to our first principle given by Henry Fayol. It is division of work. What do you mean by division of work? In this division of work, the work should be divided into small tasks, and a trained specialist who is competent is required to perform each job. Means a person who is specialized in a particular type of job. After dividing the work into small tasks, that particular job should be given to a person who is specialized in that. And by doing so, we can increase the quality of work, the speed of production, and we can decrease the wastage of resources also. And this division of work also increases the efficiency of the workers. Now we move on to second principles given by Henry Fayol, and that is authority and responsibility. Authority and responsibility. Here, authority is the right of a superior to give orders to his subordinates and obtain obedience. And responsibility means obligations to carry out an assigned job on time. Means it is said authority and responsibilities are the things which are the same part of a single coin. 2 parts of a single coin, and they should be given to a person together, because without authority, responsibility is not complete, and without responsibility, authority is also not complete. Because here I am going to take an example, like if a sales manager requires to offer a credit period of 60 days to negotiate a deal with a buyer, she should not give authority to offer a credit period of 100 days. She may misuse his or her authority. Means if we want to give a credit period of 60 days to a buyer, so it should not extend till 100 days, or we should not give authority to the person to extend it till 100 days, he will misuse it. But apart from that, when we go to a manufacturing department, and if a production manager wants from that the manufacturing of scooters, a foreman should do the manufacturing of scooters of at least 250 scooters per day. So in this, he should, what it is there, if he does not give authority to requisition of tools and materials from stores department, then this responsibility cannot be completed. So what it is there, if you have given authority without responsibility, the managers can misuse them. And if you have given responsibility and authority cannot be given, then it's not possible to complete that responsibility on time. Then we come to third principle of Henry Fayol, and that is yours, unity of command. So here, according to Fayol, there should be one and only one boss or superior for every individual employee. Like, each employee in an organization should receive orders from one superior only. He should be responsible to one superior, because dual subordination should be avoided to prevent confusion, because that dual subordination can create confusion and it should be avoided, because this confusion can also lead to the miscommunication or delay of the work. Like, here is a sales executive is there. He gets instruction from his sales manager to sell more to reach desired target. But at the same time, the production manager instructs the sales executives to go slow in selling due to shortage of raw materials. In such a situation, what it will happen? The sales executive will get confused as to whose instruction should he follow. So that is why the command should be given by a single boss, because the dual subordination, the dual command can create confusion and it can also lead to the delay of the work. Next, we come to fourth principle given by Henry Fayol, and it is unity of direction. Now, unity of direction, before this you have read about unity of command, then it is unity of direction. In this unity of direction, it is that all the units of an organization should be moving towards the same objectives through coordinated and focused efforts. Each group of activities having the same objective must have one head and one plan. Means the direction of all the departments of an organization should move towards one direction. Whatever, like, there are that functions of management which starts from planning. So whatever things are being planned in planning process, the direction to the employees should be given according to that plans, and the direction should be same for each group, so that it can be that they all are working for same organization. So what it can be there, that one head and one plan, and this ensures unity of action and coordination. Like, for an example, if a company is manufacturing motorcycles as well as cars, then it should have two separate divisions. Each division should have its own in charge, plans and resources, and the working of the two divisions should not overlap on any account. This is unity of direction. And what are the positive effects of this unity of direction? That it is, the advantage is that specialization is obtained due to a manager's association with the same kind of activity, and it increases the efficiency of the organization, and it is easy to achieve objectives also. And this unity of direction helps in the coordination, because there is unity in the activities of the managers, and whatever it is being, the direction is being given, that it is being already planned. So dear students, you come to know what is unity of direction, that there should be one head and one plan for a group of activities having the same objectives. Means a activity which is having same objective should have one head and one plan. Different direction should not be given to the employees for the same activity. Now we move on to our fifth principle given by Henry Fayol. It is equity. Equity means combination of fairness, kindness and justice. And according to this principle, the manager should treat their subordinates as fairly as possible, so that they develop a feeling of dedication for their work. It is that every people should be treated equally by the managers. But here equally does not mean that every person should get the same salary. No. What according to Henry Fayol, what it is being said, that good sense and experience are needed to ensure fairness to all employees, who should be treated as fairly as possible. And this principle also says that kindness and justice in the behavior of managers towards workers should be there to ensure loyalty and devotion. There should be no discrimination on account of sex, religion, language, belief, nationality, caste, etc. Fayol does not rule out use of force sometimes. Rather, he says that lazy personnel means employees, should be dealt with sternly to send the message that everyone is equal in the eyes of management. But like from example, I want to explain you the equity. The rules for granting medical leave to an employee should be the same irrespective of their position, gender, age, etc. But like one more example is also there. A worker produces 100 units a day. Another worker who is a relative of the supervisor produces 95 units a day, but both get equal remuneration. This violates the principle of equity. Means this I want to say, dear students, that equity means the workers should be equal in the eyes of the managers. Equal in the sense, like I have given example of medical leave, so it should be equal for all the workers apart from their position and age. But the second example which I have given, that if a worker produces 100 units a day and another who is the relative of the manager produces 95 units a day, should not get the same salary, because another worker has produced 5 units more than the one worker. If the same salary is being given, then it is being called as discrimination and it will violate the principle of equity. So dear students, let's find out the positive effects of the principle of equity. What are the positive effects? Due to the principle of equity, the employees remain satisfied, increases the sense of devotion to the organization, and skilled employees try to improve upon their skill and unskilled employees try to achieve some skills. Okay, now we move on to next principle. It is order. Now here, what do you mean by order? Order is to give an order to move here and there, or like जो कोर्ट में कहते हैं ऑर्डर ऑर्डर. No. The principle of order states that there should be a place for everything and everyone in an organization, and that thing or person should be found in its or his allotted place. Means, according to this principle, a right person should be placed at a right job and a right thing should be placed at the right place. Okay? In this, for example, the head of the marketing department may be allotted an office room, the typist a particular table, and the foreman to supervise a workshop. These persons should remain in their allotted places during working hours so that can be easily contacted wherever necessary. Okay? Means it is there, like students we are have in school also, what it is there, that you also know that the principal ma'am is having his own office own. So what it is there, whenever you want to meet her, so you know that this is the place where she will meet, she is available in this place. So this is being said ki the right thing should be at the right place and the right person, the person that is efficient for a particular type of job should be given the right person should be given a right job. Let's read out the positive effects of order. That it complete utilization of material and human resources, and there is no loss of time in tracing the resources in need of time. Yes, it is there that there is no loss of time in tracing the resources in need of time. Resources can be money also, man also, and material also. When these resources are needed and they are placed at a particular place, then the time is not being wasted and it also follows a better discipline. Okay? Next principle. Next principle is discipline. What do you mean by discipline? Given by Henry Fayol, discipline is like which you follow in the school. You are not supposed to bring mobiles, you have to be quiet, be in your class. All this it means discipline. Discipline is the obedience to organizational rules. Yes, these are organizational rules. And in a school also where you are studying, there are also some of the rules. So discipline is the obedience to organizational rules and employment agreement which are necessary for the working of the organization. For example, suppose management and labor union have entered into an agreement whereby workers have agreed to work overtime without any additional payment to revive the company out of loss. In return, the management has promised to increase wages when this mission is accomplished. Here, discipline would mean that workers and management both honor their commitment. Means, discipline is being said that obedience to organizational rules. Means organizational rules, whatever it is there. Like in our school also a rule is there that students should not have mobiles with them. So these are the rules and you should follow this. But here an example is being there, like before starting in an organization, the worker has agreed with an agreement that they will work overtime without extra payment so that company can come out of the loss. And the manager has promised that as the company come out of its losses, he will increase the wages. So this is the two things which both of them should follow. So these commitments which both workers and manager will follow will be the discipline for them. Okay. Next principle of management is initiative. Initiative means eagerness to initiate actions without being asked to do so. Initiative means to take initiative. किसी work को आगे जो हम बढ़ के करते हैं ना, that is called as initiative. यानी हम किसी वर्क को आगे बढ़ के करते हैं, इनिशिएटिव लेते हैं कि ओके आई विल डू दिस, आई कैन डू दिस वर्क वेरी नाइसली. this is initiative. Now according to Henry Fayol, this initiative means taking the first step with self-motivation. It is thinking out and executing the plan within the prescribed limits of authority. Means, according to Fayol, workers should be encouraged to develop and carry out their plans for improvements. For example, a good company has an employee suggestion system whereby initiative and suggestion which results in substantial cost time reduction and is rewarded. Means initiative, the workers which they take on their own to try to improve the efficiency and try to improve the organization, and these initiatives taken by the workers should be appreciated by the managers. Because when these initiatives are being appreciated, the workers become encouraged and they try to take more initiative to improve the working process of an organization. Next principle given by Fayol is remuneration. Remuneration means that is salary and wages given to the people. And remuneration should be given, there should be fair remuneration given to the people. Fair remuneration means means that the remuneration should be paid to the workers should be fair, reasonable, satisfactory and rewarding of the efforts. Means the employees should be paid the fair remuneration which should give them at least a reasonable standard of living. And apart from that, what it should be there, the fair remuneration should be just and equitable so as to maximum satisfaction to both employees and the organization. And the fair remuneration is that employees, when they compare their remuneration with their work to other employees working in other organizations. So here fair means that the work which they are doing, it should satisfy their work, the remuneration. What are the positive effects of this fair remuneration? It increases the encouragement and satisfaction of the employees, develops the spirit of dedication among the employees, and decline in the labor turnover rate. Means अगर fair remuneration नहीं होता है किसी organization में, तो what the employees do, they will not be satisfied with the remuneration, with the salary and wages they are getting. So they will try to switch off. Means they will try to move from this organization to another. So this fair remuneration also decline, means also decreases the labor turnover rate. Means labor जो एक कंपनी से दूसरी कंपनी चेंज करती है उसको भी वो थोड़ा सा कम कर देते हैं, डिक्रीज कर देता है आपका फेयर रेम्यूनरेशन. ओके, तो द रेम्यूनरेशन शुड बी प्रोवाइडेड फेयर, रीजनेबल, satisfactory and rewarding of the efforts to the employees. Next principle given by Fayol is stability of tenure. Stability of tenure. Tenure here means personal. Personal means employees. The stability of tenure means that according to this principle, employees once selected should be kept at their position for a minimum fixed tenure. Means in other words that they should have stability of tenure. They should means a company should have a stability of tenure, and they should focus if frequently the employees are leaving the organization, the company should do something or they should think upon it why people are leaving the company again and again. Because as the employees leave frequently the company, it also shows the goodwill of the company, because if company is having a good goodwill, it means it is earning a good profits. That means you are providing very good facilities to your employees, and if it is there, so they will not leave the organization frequently. So somewhere or the other, the stability of tenure also calculate the goodwill of an organization. That is why Fewell suggested that labor turnover should be minimized to maintain organizational efficiency, because if employees will be moving frequently, though you will have lot of expenses on training process also, and you have to do, the managers has to do lot of expenses on employing, like making out the ads for the people, employees, then taking their interviews. These are also expensive, it also requires some expenses. So that is why Fewell suggests that labor turnover should be minimized to maintain organizational efficiency. The positive effects of stability of personnel is increase in the confidence of the employees, increases the reputation of the companies, skilled workers are inclined towards the company, and less expenses on training. Okay, now we come to next principle given by Henry Fewell. It is scalar chain. Okay, very interesting. Scalar chain. What do you mean by scalar chain? Scalar chain is that the formal line of authority from highest to lowest ranks is known as scalar chain. And in this scalar chain, Fewell says that this chain must be followed in a strict manner. Means each communication must move from top to bottom and from bottom to top in a straight line. And what it is there, this scalar chain, it is being followed. Like you can see this diagram also here. This shows the scalar chain. Like if any instruction A has given, so first it should go to E, then F, then G. And if any message a D wants to pass to A, from bottom to top it has to be gone. So it should go through D to C, then B, then A. So this Fewell is saying that scalar chain refers to chain of authority and communication that runs from top to bottom and should be followed by the managers and the subordinates. Okay, but according to Fewell, it is being said that this chain should not be violated in the normal course of formal communication. However, if there is an emergency, then what it is there, the E who is there can directly contact to D through what it is written here, gangplank, through gangplank. Means this is a shorter route and has been provided so that communication is not delayed in case of emergency. Means Fewell focus on both the things, that scalar chain should be followed strictly, means order should be passed from top to bottom and vice versa. But in case if it is emergency, so the people can follow gangplank, because there should not be delay in the communication in the cases of emergency. And gangplank is that directly a person can talk to the another person or can send the message to another person where whom he has to send message, he can send it directly. So now we should have some positive effects of this scalar chain and gangplank. It is that flow of orderly information, better relation because of absolute respect for authority, and quick solution of problems is also there in this scalar chain. Next principle given by Fewell is subordination of individual interest to common goal. subordination of individual interest to common goal. In this, according to this principle, the interest of an organization should take priority over the interest of one individual employee. Means every worker has some individual interest for working in a company, and the company has got its own objective. Like for an example, a purchase manager of a company has to purchase 100 tons of raw material. His son happens to be a supplier along with other suppliers in the market. The manager purchases the raw material from the firm of his son at a rate higher than the market rate. This will profit the manager personally, but the company will incur heavy loss. This situation is undesirable. Means here it is subordination of individual interest to general interest. Means according to this, the people should give interest priority to their own interest, but on prior basis they should keep the interest of organization, because it is the organization which is giving the salary to many of the person. Like I can take one more example, that a company may want to get maximum output from its employees at a competitive cost, means salary. On the other hand, an employee may want to get maximum salary while working for less time, or demand some concession which is not admissible to any other employee, like producing less output. Means ultimately it is said, dear students, that when you are working in an organization, the individual interest should be turned to common goals. Common goals means the goals of an organization, because ultimately that goals will satisfy your own individual interest. Now we come to next principle given by Henry Fayol, and it is Esprit de Corps, which means unity is strength. Esprit de Corps means unity is strength. And according to Fayol, management should promote a team spirit of unity and harmony among employees to realize organization objectives. A manager should replace I with we in all his conversations with workers to foster team spirit. This will give rise to a spirit of mutual trust and belongingness among team members. It would also minimize the need for using penalties. Means here the management should promote teamwork, especially in large organizations, because otherwise it will result in a loss of coordination, and what it will happen, the organization will not be able to achieve its objectives. What are the positive effects of this Esprit de Corps? That motivation to work with team spirit, easy to achieve objective, and sweet relationship. It also creates a sweet relationship among the people in the organization. So Esprit de Corps, it focuses on changing from I to we, and that is all team spirit, means unity is strength. Now dear students, we come to the last principle given by Henry Fayol, and this principle is very important principle, and it is centralization. Centralization is being given here, but there is also a substitute of centralization, that is decentralization. Now first we read about centralization. Centralization means concentration of decision making authority by top management. Means decision making authority should be in hands of the top management, whereas its dispersal among more than one person is known as decentralization. Means centralization is that authority should not, decision making authority should be with the top management, but decentralization is dispersal of this authority among more than one person. It is called decentralization. And what Fayol says in this centralization and decentralization, that there is a need to balance subordinate involvement through decentralization with managers, retention of final authority through centralization. Means what it is there, dear students, that if an organization is a small organization, it can work with centralization. Means a single person can handle all of the works. But when the organization has a big level, it is having different departments, then the manager should follow the decentralization process. What are the positive effects of this centralization and decentralization? It decreases in the workload of superiors, better and quick decisions, increase in the encouragement to the subordinates. What it is there? Like that superiors, they can focus on other activities which are important for the organization. The subordinates, they feel very happy and they have the responsibility in them that some work is being given to them, and they are encouraged also to do work. And superiors can focus on other activities which are important for the organization. Okay, dear students, here we complete with the 14 principles given by Fayol. And the principles of management are the essential underlying factors that form the foundations of successful management. And these principles, they serve as guidelines for decisions and actions of managers, which are given by Fayol. Now you all will learn these 14 principles, dear students. These are very important for your examinations. And in next video, I will move on to the principles and techniques given by Taylor. Okay. Thank you, my dear students. Have a nice day.